Welcome to the IPX True North podcast, where we connect people, processes, and tools.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us again for another IPX podcast. As usual, I'm your host today, Joseph Anderson, and I'm joined by a special guest from Turkish Airlines. And much like with all of our podcasts, I'm going to let our guest introduce himself, but I'm excited to have this conversation. We're going to be talking about all things CM, CM2, digitalization, and how all that really kind of goes hand in hand with such things as mechatronics or embedded AI and such. But again, I look forward to this podcast. And Faruk, if you would, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and a little bit about who you are and what makes you smile professionally and personally.
Thank you so much. Hello, Joseph. I'm glad to be here, actually. Let me introduce myself. I am Faruk Oğuz. I'm a mechanical engineer and currently acting as responsible manager and head of configuration management at Turkish Aerospace. Let me talk about a little bit about Turkish Aerospace. Turkish Aerospace is a leading aerospace company in Turkey and one of the major OEMs in the world. Actually, I have prepared something for you. Let me show you some of our products model. You can see this is Hürjet, and this is a trainer wing aircraft and the Jet 1. And also we have here Hürkuş, and this is a propeller trainer aircraft again. It's a fixed wing. And we have here Kaan. This is our Turkish fighter. And currently we are designing and we are producing these aircrafts. And I will show you one of the rotary wing one. This is Gökbey. This is a helicopter. And this is also designed by our company. And it's a general purpose helicopter. So Turkish Aerospace is the leading aerospace company in our country.
I've spent a lot of time in Turkey. I just a big fan of the people and the culture, but I will say I've spent many times utilizing Turkish Aerospace, and I have nothing but the highest accolades on everything from the people within the service team and the aircraft itself. So can't say enough about the way Turkish Aerospace really kind of conducts itself across the board end to end.
Yeah, actually, we will talk about a little bit more in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, not a problem. So, much like myself, you have a passion for configuration management. And I spend a lot of time, and I'm sure you do as well, and really the last almost 25 years of my career trying to educate, leaders of organizations on the vital importance of what configuration management is. Oftentimes it gets stuck in that change management world, that engineering change silo. But I think, as you and I know, and many of the true advocates of quality, configuration management is your core of, that end-to-end process and traceability and interoperability of your organization. And if you truly care about quality, you have to have robust configuration management principles. But from your perspective, as a configuration management professional, why is it important to you, and how's it helped your career and the company you currently work for?
Yeah, actually, today we will talk about CM as a career path. So configuration management engineers and specialists are responsible for managing and controlling the configuration of a system, configuration of a product, configuration of a project throughout its life cycle. And as you said, in our company, it's the same. Ensuring consistency, controlling changes, and identifying are the main duties as a short summary. Maybe I can repeat one more time this one. Ensuring consistency, controlling changes, and identifying are the main duties as a short summary.
I look forward to digging into this a little bit because, as you know, there's a couple large organizations in Europe right now. They are massively hiring anyone that has configuration management in their title. And I'd like you to talk about that career path of configuration management and why it could lead to so many unique opportunities for an individual.
Especially for the young engineers, starting a career as a configuration management professional offers several benefits. So first of all, you start your career as a manager. I know that the title is cool, but more than that, you will be responsible how to manage the complete process. And you have power to optimize it. So this is one of the advantages in the configuration management world. So this is a very satisfying situation especially in the early start of a career for young professionals. And there will be opportunities in the configuration management to develop your skills like strong analytical problem solving, leadership, team formation, because you are mainly leading boards, and you can work in different industries such as aerospace, defense, automotive, healthcare, and almost all design and all production companies have CM engineers and specialists. Also, you can shift your career, you can change your career easily to quality management, to program management, because quality management and program management have the same common principles. So it is a little bit easy to change your career. Also, do you know, Joseph, how many jobs are open today for CM people? I just checked from LinkedIn in a couple of hours ago, and it is more than 1,000. So it's a big opportunity.
Absolutely. There is a huge void. I'm glad you touched on this because it's how I started my career. Actually, on the corporate side, it was as an apprentice, and I was able to take the CM2 courseware as a young apprentice. And, understanding what configuration management truly meant to an organization was something that fascinated me. And I've used that, as you've discussed, throughout my career to grow and to learn and to just get more responsibility. And here I am today talking to you. It's a good bookend as far as my professional career goes. I now have the honor to, help lead the organization that first taught me all about configuration management. And, I think we're going to see more and more need for configuration management specialists, especially when we talk about digitalization, when we talk about true PLM. But from your perspective, can you name, 5 to 10, 6 reasons why a young professional should think about taking a configuration management job offer?
Yes, I think the first one is it's a very critical role, especially in product and service development. And there needs to be a cross-functional collaboration with various teams. And as you said, continuous learning and continuous growth is another opportunity. Impact on quality and efficiency, career opportunities and job security. And also the last one, I think the versatile skill set like digitalization, software usage, etc. So these are the 6 reasons for young professionals.
Let's talk about that last buzzword there, digitalization, and how does configuration management, especially CM2, because as we know, there's a legacy CM, which is very engineering centric, and there's CM2, and
Yes.
we're talking about enterprise, we're talking about everything from, as concepted to as decommissioned. And how do you think configuration management plays a role in this, digital focus? Because everything's digital nowadays. I gave a keynote presentation on this a couple months ago. We've got to really understand, no matter how much you spend on IT or digital capability, if you don't spend, and I'm not saying it has to be an equal amount, but there is an investment on ensuring your processes are updated, your requirements are updated, because those are going to drive the behaviors of your people and of your systems. So do you mind just, taking some time, and from your perspective, where is configuration management, CM2's role in the digital environment?
Joseph, now actually they are luckier than us because configuration management plays a crucial role in the process of digitalization by providing several benefits. In the past, we had technical documents and technical 2D drawings on paper. So we are mainly working with the papers, So at that time, CM was a little bit hard, but current situation is completely different. We are talking about MBSE, model-based system engineering, simulations, digital twins, other digital solutions, as you said, CM2 or end-to-end PLM. So these are the main duties. And configuration management ensures there's a physical product and there's a digital asset. So configuration management ensures that physical product and digital assets are the same. So this is also another important issue.
And related to that, we also have, the stakeholders within the process, within the functions. It could be your engineers, it could be manufacturing, it could be quality, it could be your CM department. And how do we, merge all that responsibility, all that ownership, the accountability with where that digital ecosystem is headed. I do want to mention, I had a smile when you said things were more difficult on us. I don't think they'll ever understand what it was like managing paper documents, filling out your impact matrix with a pencil. This was before Microsoft Excel. So, you know,
Exactly.
you and I could smile on that one, but from a responsibility and an accountability with CM and the digital ecosystem, you know, where do you see that headed over the next few years, and why is it important now?
Actually, managing the digitalization process offers CM professionals opportunities to contribute in various ways. For example, implementing robust configuration management practices to ensure the quality and reliability of the digital solutions, identification, and there are a lot of risks, and mitigating the risks associated with the digital transformation projects through analysis and testing. So in the digital transformation, CM2 is also very important, as you know. And developing and maintaining automated tools, automated process for configuration management and product lifecycle is really important one.
That one's a big one for me, and it's frustrating at times. You know, I've been on the other side in industry and investing a lot in PLM systems and ERP and MES and QMS and all the acronyms. And organizations tend to just celebrate that spend, you know, because I believe sometimes at the C-suite level, we get dazzled by the shiny things, right? Which is the new IT tool. And, you know, for 2 decades now, to be quite honest, we've been talking about PLM systems a lot in large corporations and how they're going to fix everything. And a lot of big name companies have spent billions of dollars on PLM systems, and they're still using them as a PDM system at best. And I think part of that, you know, my perspective is there's a need to educate the top level executives on the importance of CM2 and how CM2 and your configuration management processes, they drive those tools. And that's what you've been touching on a little bit. It's been something I've really been pushing on this year. As we know, anyone that follows me and any of my posts or blogs or papers or keynotes, I'm a proponent of true quality and stopping this kind of epidemic of recalls and in-field issues that we see, you know, aerospace and outside of aerospace. And I think you cannot do that without robust configuration management processes and principles. It doesn't matter what tools you have. The greatest tool in the world, IT system in the world, is just going to allow you to get bad things out the door faster if you don't change the way you behave. So that was a long-winded way for me to go, what is Turkish Aerospace doing in this field? And you know, how are you trying to lead the industry?
Actually, you point out a very important issue. The top management support is really, really important on the digital transformation because you are changing the way the people performed. So it is very hard to change. So that's why upper management support is really important. And also we are doing a lot. You saw our products. Our product is so complicated. Actually, they are systems of systems and they have highest technology. So we have to follow the technology. So that's why we are doing a lot. You know, the past experiences show that any company who are not investing the latest trends, optimization, technology, have been either disappeared or shrinked. I will not talk about any names. I will not tell any names, but we have seen that the top 10 valuable companies in 90s are not listed anymore. And current top 10 companies are the ones with 2 or 3 years old. So companies should not trust how old they are, or they might have very good cash flow, but they shouldn't trust their current cash flow only. So we are investing digitalization and PLM principles in Turkish Aerospace. You know very well, CM2 is another way to ensure process excellence. And we have the highest number of CM2 graduates in our country, in Turkey. And investing buildings, investing software, investing hardware is not enough right now. The most critical investment is the people. Engineers and digitalization specialists will change the world. Although they said that AI will change the world, but since they are controlling the AI, engineers and digitalization specialists will change the world, and their impact will be higher in the near future. So we are investing the people, and we are investing young engineers and young professionals.
I really want to take time to kind of, you know, make sure Turkish Aerospace gets the credit it deserves with those statements, because we often hear companies talk about, people, processes, and systems. You have to invest in all of it. And like you said, a lot of the big name companies say the same thing. We invest in people, processes, and systems. And what I can tell you is from my seat and when my boots are on the ground, meeting with C-suite teams, that's just not the truth. It just really isn't. Unlike Turkish Aerospace, there's a few like Turkish Aerospace that truly understand you have to put quite a bit of investment into your people and your processes, and you have to train them. And continuing education is very important. Most companies don't truly invest in their people, and most companies don't take the time to have an unbiased assessment of their processes to make sure they're still doing things correctly, or they're doing them as efficiently and effectively as possible, especially as you alluded to with AI. That's the big buzzword. From where I come from, AI is embedded software. It's mechatronics. And that means you're going to have design engineers and software engineers responsible for that embedded software. And the only way you can ensure proper fail safes and proper fielded products is to have robust configuration management. And you can't do that if you're not continually training your workforce and updating your processes. So I want to say, first of all, and obviously this is going to go international, Turkish Aerospace is one of the leading corporations when it comes to truly investing in your people. Obviously, I know what you're doing on the CM2 side and follow what you're doing on other disciplines. And, really, as we like to say, hats off to you. That's an accomplishment because your words match your actions, and as my good friend Ron Harvey likes to say, does your audio match your video? I use that all the time now because it's important. And like you said, it doesn't matter what your cash flow is today if you're not behaving correctly and you're not investing in your people and you're not doing things correctly. If you're violating standards, if you're violating processes, if you have workarounds, eventually that's going to catch up to you. And there's brand damage and there's a whole lot of other damage associated with that. But I do want to say, I do echo and I have firsthand knowledge on how Turkish Aerospace invests in its people. And my challenge to Turkish Aerospace is more CM2 graduates, more CM2 training. And obviously it's a win-win for everyone. But if all your employees know how to use, for example, your Microsoft-based applications, your PowerPoints, your Words, they should know everything. Everyone in your company needs to understand why their role ensures quality, why their role ensures your brand will succeed for decades to come. And a lot of that's baked into configuration management to CM2. I'm a big proponent of our standards, our Dash 500, our 550 and 600 standard, and what that means to companies. But again, an applause is needed for Turkish Aerospace because you're one of the few that legitimately your words and your actions match when it comes to investing in your people. And that's a big deal.
Exactly. Maybe I can add some more things. For example, we have a Turkish Aerospace Academy, and we are not taking only courses from the other sources, but we are creating course in our company. So there's a big academic courses list. And when a new graduate is coming, they are taking many courses with the role-oriented courses. Also, another thing, for example, when I started my career, we were working with metallic parts only. There was so less number of composite parts, but today we are creating these aircrafts or helicopters from the composite, and it is completely different world. And if you live in the metallic world, then you are becoming a dinosaur. So that's why you shouldn't be a dinosaur, or dinosaurs will not be able to live forever. That's why you have to invest your people. You have to have a academy inside the company, etc. So this is very important. And we are lucky, as I said, our upper management is very strict on these. And the first issue is to train the people and to invest the people.
Well, then with that, I'm going to give you a fun challenge for you and your executives for your academy. As you know, we have our own idea academy that's CM2 and beyond. My challenge is let's see if IPX and Turkish Aerospace can partner, and we will create a tailor onboarding Turkish Aerospace and CM2 offering and maybe a few other tailored offerings. As you know, we do our, much like that academy training with other European partners close to you. Maybe we could announce something fun in the next year where we celebrate something in Turkey. It's been too long since I've been there, and we do something
Please
special.
come to Turkey again. Yes.
As soon as the invite's there, I'll be there. But maybe we could celebrate doing something in the Turkish Aerospace Academy together and really show the world why this is important. And that's kind of one last topic I really want to kind of hit home from a quality perspective. We've talked a lot about career paths today. We've talked about why this is important to be championed at the executive level. To me, and as you've heard me mention, when we talk about PLM and quality and CM2, those are pillars of your organization. Do you feel like at Turkish Aerospace, you have solid pillars for where you're headed over the next 5 years? You know, you've got your functional expertise, right? Engineering expertise, you know, where you're headed from a supply chain base, but your main pillars, you know, of quality, of CM2, do you feel like those pillars are really going to propel you to the top and keep you there for the next decade? It's something to be proud of, right?
Yeah, we have to have that actually, because we are working with the flying objects, and there is an FAA and EASA, and these authorities are actually have the rules, very strict rules, and you have to have a quality. Otherwise, for example, for the automotive, if your car will be broken down, you can just repair it on the ground. But when you have an aircraft, it is completely different. So that's why it is very important, because at the end it is going to safety. So the safety is the first one in our company, and also in other aerospace companies. Safety is the first. So to have a safety, you have to have a robust systems, robust quality system, robust configuration system, robust project management system to have a safe aircraft. So this is very important in aerospace world. And I feel lucky because I started my career in the aerospace, so I can have that. I can understand this importance, and this is, advantage in the working of aerospace world.
Yeah. And obviously, we're not going to name names, but I'm really glad, and I was hoping you were going to mention safety as priority one. And that can't be a token statement. It really shouldn't be a token statement for any industry, right? If you have a consumer utilizing your product and your product can injure that consumer, then safety should be priority one. And if it's not, then there's an issue. And I think what we see, again, this is me speaking, Joseph Anderson from IPX, and the data's there, right? We have all the agencies that track the recalls and the defects. I've talked about this before. And aerospace is no different. Even with all the regulatory bodies, the organization still has to hold safety as priority one. And that means you can't violate your internal controls. You can't violate external regulations and or standards. What is Turkish Aerospace doing to ensure that mentality, which is we are always going to deliver a safe and functioning product that is built upon a foundation of quality? What do you feel like Turkish Aerospace, what's your differentiator for Turkish Aerospace?
Actually, there are so many rules, as you said, and we have to follow the rules. But actually, the rules is not the first one. The first one is the culture. If you have a culture in your company, the culture of aerospace product, the culture of quality, and if you have this culture for the other young professionals, for example, you have experienced engineers, you have experienced technicians, but this culture should be transferred to new hires. And if you have an atmosphere like this, then you can have safe products. Of course, rules are very important, but sometimes rules can be missed if you don't have a culture.
I think you and I are cut from a similar cloth.
Exactly.
The culture to me, again, it goes back to people, and that's passed down, much like knowledge management, right? We always hear companies talk about knowledge management on the engineering side, the manufacturing, the process, the rules, but it's culture, right? And it's got to be real and it's got to be felt. You could walk into a company and know when the culture isn't real. What they market and what they sell online from a culture perspective isn't truly who they are. And it's very disappointing. And unfortunately, and my line of work, I see it all the time. But getting to work with organizations like you, it keeps me going, right? That's where my passion is. And that's no different than why you chose your career. And you, like you said, you're fortunate to work for a company where culture is just as important. It has an equal playing field as safety, right? And then the product you develop, because your organization understands without the right culture, we're going to fail and we're going to make mistakes. And the more mistakes you make, the harder things get on you, as we all know. But with that, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to wait on that invitation. I hope we could have some kind of Turkish Aerospace, maybe small little camera crew when I visit and we can walk around. And the second challenge is let's do something special in your academy. And with that, we're going to wrap up this podcast. I look forward to doing this again. I would love to continue this conversation. I would like to really kind of dig into what you're doing specifically with CM2 and Turkish Aerospace, because I think there's a lot of lessons learned and best practices, we could share with the audience and just continue this conversation if that's okay with you.
Of course. Let's do that again, and we can have another conversation with the deep dive in our CM2 practices. And also, when we talk about these, maybe other companies can benefit from that. And also, one more thing, since we are the lead, there are also supply chains and small companies, etc. So when we talk about the rules and culture and continuous growth, etc., in the leading company, then supply chain and the complete atmosphere will be the similar or same. So we will see.
100%. You've heard me probably say it before, and it's a cliche, but you are as strong as your weakest link, right? So within your supply chain, if you've got a supplier where their organization is struggling, they have a bad culture, safety is not priority one, that's going to cause frustrations for you, and it could potentially cause you issues in the field with your product. So supply chain's a big one for me as well. I look forward to it, and we'll get those booked here real soon, because I look forward to kind of having those conversations and rolling up our sleeves and trying to give back as well, right? You and I have been doing this for a while, and hopefully there's a younger generation listening to us that understands why this is so important and also can take pride in this type of a job, because what you're doing in your seat, you're ensuring Turkish Aerospace is going to last for generations. And that's something to be proud of. So with that, I'd like to just say thank you for joining me today on this podcast. I look forward to visiting you soon in Turkey, and we'll get a couple additional podcasts scheduled real soon.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joseph.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe and review the show. And for more information on IPX, visit ipxhq.com.